this tangent code thing. This is my new venture, I guess, my company that I'm building. And it's all about making a course, making a bunch of courses where they're based on tests that are given to you. So they're programming courses and they're test first. And the first one is going to be learntris. And I've just gone through this, making this video about setting up the machine, and I've created my repository and started a challenge. And so now I am in the process of doing that. I started making this thing called learntris, which so far has one line of code, which is not even code. It's just, this is basically the start of a Red program. Red is a programming language that's been around for a while. It's based on an older language called Rebol, but it's actually like self-hosting and has its own compiler and everything. It's a very high-level language, but also can go all the way down to native compilation of you can build an exe file. So that's kind of neat, and I am getting that working. So I use that as my demo language, and it was because I actually wanted to build learntris in this. So learntris, if you don't know, if you haven't seen this channel before or haven't talked about it, if you just type learntris, learntris challenge, that's an old challenge that I made many years ago on Learn Programming Learntris. Probably this will move to tangent code at some point. And it's basically a game about making Tetris, right? So we're going to run through this file that has now been loaded onto my server and is being served as a course. And I have not looked at this in many years. So yeah, I think this is actually made like 10 years ago, and I've been using the runner to do some of my virtual machine stuff. I made a new test plan for that, and then I haven't actually looked at learntris in a long time, other than these first two challenges that I've been using or first few tests that I've been using as a demo or whatever. But there's actually 45 tests in here, and they go all the way through. You can see it's all a bunch of text, and you can see here this is doing something. This is a bunch of commands that are being sent to the program, and the program is supposed to print this output without the comments at the end. So it looks like this is actually spawning I think that's clear, spawn an O tetramino, so the yellow block. That's why it says yellow, Y there. Print the matrix with the yellow block, with the current piece superimposed on it, and then quit. That's COP, capital O, capital PQ. And so these are the kind of commands that drive the program. So it's all done over standard input and output with text. And then the idea is that you could build a screen. You could build some kind of front end on top of it. I actually have one somewhere that I did a long time ago that's in a terminal. It's like a terminal-based thing, and I'm going to make a new one in Godot. But today, I'm going to do Red. Actually, Red has a nice GUI system as well, so I might put the front end on here. I have no idea how long this takes. This may not be a one-day project. This might take me a couple days to do, but I'm going to try it, and I'm going to go through here and just kind of see what the course is all about. So I'm going to do every one and step through it, and we'll make some notes about what could be changed in the course to improve. This is not a full Tetris game, so at the very bottom here, I had some ideas for more tests, actual scoring. There is if you go to the various websites for Tetris fans, there's all kinds of rules about where these things spawn, what orientation they're supposed to start with. There's special moves called wall kicks and things that that allow you to get a tetramino into some odd places. And I plan to make a full course that does the real thing, so you can actually make a game. You can't publish it because it's not you cannot call it Tetris, obviously. They're pretty protective of their intellectual property, but you can learn how to make the game. So yeah, I don't have anything about the ghost piece in this course, which is when you see what's coming next, and you don't have the ability to swap out the active tetramino. And there's also a whole rule about which pieces can be spawned. The rule is there's 5 or 7 tetraminos, and you have to shuffle those, and then you do that. So anyway, that's all coming. And I'm gonna make a new version of this course, but I want to go through the old course and just see where I'm at and see what can be improved. and what I can salvage from it, and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I'm going to do. And so without rambling any further, let's jump in and get started. So one thing I've done is I actually have made this Hello World program. So a learntris implementation in Red. This one thing is in Red. Make sure it's I moved the directory right now. And so that's in redtris.red, and all this other stuff is a little nonsense that we don't need. So I'm going to just make a git ignore file and ignore all that stuff. But of course it has my code in it. So let's remove the license and the README. I should have said GS, whatever. But we're going to remove that. I'm going to say just star.pll, star.exe, star.r. That seems to be something that the Red compiler put in there for me. But we want to keep them in there because otherwise it takes like a whole minute to compile a Red program. Whereas now if we say redc.c, I don't even think you need to say that, redtris.red, then it should take, it still takes a while. And luckily you can do it in, yeah, but it took like a whole minute last time. So that's still even uncomfortably slow for me. So I'm just going to use the interpreter. And we're going to hide star.that. So if we do that, that's exe. I'm going to just say libred rt star. And of course, we want to keep redtris r. So yeah, that's good. That's what I want. So git add.git ignore. And we will commit that for git ignore for red. And then git add redtris.red, git commit -m initial file. Okay, so what else is in this directory? Oh, I didn't move this. So when so you run, there's a program called Tanko that is tangent code. Actually don't like that message is that long, but I won't let it bother me too much. I should fix that. Let's see. So anyway, Tanko is my program that is going to talk to the server for me. And normally you would run Tanko init in a new directory, but I've already done that. And so I already have, and what that does is it goes to the Tanko server and asks you to select a challenge. And I picked this one. And so then now if I go to my data, I have like actually several of these started. And I believe this one, the WV one, is in my other directory that I had stepped aside because I didn't have, yeah, there it is. So move that here, git add.tanko, and we can see what it is. It's just a JavaScript file, or yeah, like, sorry, a JSON file that contains the attempt number, which is a key in this database, and the instructions for running this command. And so we're going to run it through the Red program with the argument redtris.red, and we're going to run it through the shell. And with that, git add.tanko. I already did that. Git commit -m add.tanko. Git push. Whoops. And then this repository is here at tangent stream redtris on GitHub. If we refresh that, we should see our files. There we go. Okay. All right. So when you actually click on it, this is like the back end, right? So there's no, I haven't built the app, but I built like a backend for it, and this is got, you know, it's a RESTful backend, so it's using HTMX, and so I can serve all the data to the client, but I can also browse it interactively with HTML, and you can see the state. So the state is we're in the build state. We had started in start, and I ran Tanko next, and I got the test called io.q, which is this. It says the q command instructs learntris to quit, and we just ignore this. So it's already quitting anyway. So the program does nothing, so it just runs and quits. So this test passed for free. Then, after I ran the test, you see we're building a new test. These are your past tests. These are the tests that you've already passed on the left-hand side here. And so there's a new test that you're building, or that we're supposed to be building. And we can also see it by saying tanko show. And it says the P command instructs learntris to print the state of the matrix, the rectangular array of cells in which blocks can appear. The matrix is 10 cells wide and 22 cells deep, although the top 2 rows are used only for spawning new tetraminos. At the start of the game, the matrix should be empty. The P command should indicate empty cells with the dot character, period character. Cells should be separated by spaces. Lines should be separated by the standard end of line sequence on your operating system, Python's /n. Use tanko test to run the test. So if we run this test, you see it over here, it's going to actually send a message over here saying, because I clicked on that, I think something is happening. And because I clicked on this, something's happening. But if you run it, you should actually see the data over here. It's not. Okay, well, that's a bug, but a little unfortunate. The whole point of it was it's supposed to show up on the screen here. When a test fails, you're supposed to see the results. Well, it's alpha software. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna have to go back and watch this video anyway to find all the points or whatever. But I will write that down. I just want to make sure I write everything down that I run into in this course here. So let me just make a new little sticky note for myself, and I'm just going to say something about tanko test is not showing the test. And I'm not going to try and fix that right now because this is about learntris and not about tanko. Okay. So I guess good thing it still shows it over here. All right. So so the trouble with the terminal is that there's so much in the terminal you can't see it, and so I wanted to move it to HTML. That was the whole point. Make this a little bit less painful. Eventually, it's all going to be in the browser. You're just going to be able to log in, and you'll have an editor and everything, and just be able to do everything from here. Or you'll be able to run this from your VS Code or something like that. Anyway, so let's patch this. Let's go ahead and do this. So if we go into redtris.red, and I'm actually going to also fire up the red. Let's see. How would I? Where is it? I say which red. Users Michael bin red. So C users. Well, I think if I say red V, right? I renamed the red view thing. Yeah, but it doesn't give me my terminal here. If I say red V and then that, now I can. Okay, there we go. All right. So this is like the red shell. You can also run it interactively, I guess. I thought I'd just leave it open. If you just type red, you can get the same kind of thing. And I actually did start this just playing around. That's what inspired me to keep going with it. But I don't know what I did with those notes, so because they weren't in version control. Oh, here it is. Yeah, so I did this. So this is red code. I wonder if there's a red mode for Emacs. Package. This packages. It would be called red mode. So like red mode. Red. How about Rebol? Well, I know there's one for VS Code, so maybe I'll load that one real quick. File. Open folder. B for redtris. Folder. All right, and it's not on the screen. Bring it over here. And I bet if I open that, it's going to tell me. Oh, it does. I guess I already have it. Oh, look at that. Okay. I'll make it half the size and we'll hide all this stuff. And there we go. All right, so red, we'll make it a little bigger. Ooh, that's too big. All right. Hopefully that's readable. Okay, so, and then where did I have the code? Oh, right here. So let me copy and paste this. All right, so main should not be a function, but so I did these two things. So if we just go into, I have an interpreter here. What do you think? Control P? No, Control Shift P. Red. I thought maybe there'd be like a terminal or something in here. Doesn't look like it. It just, this is kind of bright. I know you can change the background of this, but I don't remember how. But since I'm not doing anything with the GUI, I will just maybe just run it in the shell. I know what I'll do. I'll just make a new window here. Okay. So we'll say red. And so, right. So I make this a little smaller. So from what I know of, like, I'm not an expert in this language. I've made a few programs like a long time ago. And in fact, I'm going to pull them up for reference. But so if I go to tangent storm tangent labs, this is where I put, like, whenever I dabble with, you know, I like to play with languages. So I have all kinds of little junk in here. And in red, I have the stuff I did like 2 years ago. So that's the last time I looked at red. I actually did something for work and just made like a little client for our little GUI client for our database where I used to work, and I made some graphic stuff that didn't go very far apparently. And this was another piece of graphic stuff that I was going to do for a video. I was experimenting with something that I eventually wound up using Smalltalk for. This is drawing some circles that explain what bits are. But I guess what I'm really looking for is APLJK, because this is all the, like, these are just some functions I made that is kind of a library for working with arrays. Rebol is kind of a Lisp-like language or a logo-like language. You know, it actually, there's a language called Rebol, R-E-B-O-L, and I want to say this guy was like somehow involved in the Amiga or something. I don't know, but I don't know. I don't remember. Maybe I'm hallucinating that, but he came up with this language. And it was a commercial language for a long time, but like it has all these little primitives in it, and it's Lisp-like in the sense that it's very easy to make a dialect of the language. So it kind of pioneered the notion of dialects using the same syntax, but something like you see in Racket today. Anyway, but it was closed source, and it's very high level. And then the Red language is an open source Red or Rebol that is also self-hosting. So you can actually, I think you actually need Rebol to compile Red, but once you have it, then Red there's a Red compiler and whatnot. You need Rebol for bootstrapping, but I believe it's self-hosting. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, it's a neat language, and it is very expressive, but it's also kind of weird. So, like, for example, as I say, it's like a Lisp. So this entire program is one list, right? So it's a piece of data, and you can parse it. So you can say open, or I guess say maybe load. CD, is there a CD? Shadir. I'm just going to change that directory cd ver learntris. If you type help, you can get you get some kind of interactive help, and then you can even search for something with like dir, but oh, there we go. I guess I was looking for change dir. So change dir, whatever. Right. So if I say list dir, you don't have to like. List dir does not allow strings. Okay, I don't know how to do that. Oh, I see. This is yeah. So sorry, list dash dir. Yeah, there we go. So this symbol is the starter symbol for a path, and I believe you can even say like you can. Oh, it does not allow URL. Okay, but at least you can see it recognizes that's a URL. So that's kind of the claim to fame to this language is it's got a very rich set of data types, like as primitives, and like a syntax for each one. All right, so anyway, so then I believe you can say load learntris.read, and you can see it's a piece of data. And then if we say x is that, and there you go. So the weird thing is this is not a variable in the sense that that we normally think of variables. It's not living in like a well, okay, so in particular with a function, right? So if we make a function, this is I'm just trying to like load into my head what this is. So func is missing stuff. So there's a word func and function, and then you give it a name or whatever, and then inside of it you have like variables. So if we say x equals 5, or how about we say x is the argument. I think you say it like this, and then we say y is equal to or y equals y plus x. But I don't know how you initialize it to. Well, I think you can just say y equals 0, right? Obviously you can, but I wanted to demonstrate something, and there's no like separation, right? So I think this is it. So let's say f is this, and so we say f. Okay, yeah. So you see, there's x and there's local y. So if we say f of y, no. Yeah, I don't know how to expose this behavior, but I'm pretty sure that like y is like it's not like living in a stack the way you would think about it. It's like somehow you can actually access this function. Like, I mean, let's try this. We can't. I don't know enough about this to say what's going on here. So if we say y equals, yeah, I don't know. I'm rambling. You'll see it's weird. I'm not going to try and explain it because I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I do know that when you do a loop or something, so this word collect makes like a mini language. So the whole point is to print out this this matrix, right? We're trying to print this out if the input is the letter P. So we got to print this out. So this is what I had before, and so if I say loop 10 of this expression, we should get that. Okay, so we need to somehow collect them, right? And so that's what the word collect means. And so we're going to collect this, but that doesn't do anything. You have to tell it what to collect. And so keep is kind of like a yield, like inside of your expression, right? So collect is going to execute everything inside of its brackets. loop 10 is going to execute everything inside these brackets 10 times, and then keep is going to add to the collection, if that makes any sense. There we go, and we get 10 of those. And then you say rejoin, and those all become one thing. So that's this, and then of course we print it. That's that. And so then if we give it a name, we say func. I'm going to remove that print. Right? So we put that in brackets, and we say matrix line is this. And if you say matrix line, it just runs it. Right? So as soon as you invoke the word, it just immediately runs it. You don't have to have any parentheses or anything unless you're calling it in a strange way. So here, then we could say 22 times, or loop 22 print matrix line, right? Oh, but let me just. And then there's the matrix. So that's all we need to do. And then now we have to read input, and I learned already that that was the word input. Hello. And then we have to say, if you put word in front of it, word input, that will turn that string into a symbol. Do I need that? I thought I needed that for a minute. Oh, I know why. Because because now I wanted to make it like a map, and so I wanted to say like Q be exit or break or whatever. Q is break. And P would be print or matrix show, right? Right, and so then we could call this like commands. And so then if we say commands P, and if we say do commands P, because I did not give that I didn't actually invoke this. I didn't give it a name. And then that should work. So what if we then said do commands word input, and then we said Q, or we said P, to word input. There we go. And so that's my interpreter. And then I think if we, oops. Come on. Come on. You have to say control insert. I thought you could. I could have sworn you could. I guess I've been used to the. Yeah, he doesn't have copy and paste. And I think that's it. Like, I think that's the implementation that gets us through. Oh, but I didn't say what commands was. So, like, define all that, and then let's even just put it here. Of course, this is not going to work out entirely correctly because it's, just printing out an empty matrix, but it should pass the test. I probably should have kept all that. So let's see what happens if I say learntris dot red does not allow block for its count argument. Oh, sorry, forever is the word. And if I say Q, it quits. And if I say P, it prints. And I say PQ, it prints. Now, they, as you saw, they can be all on one line, so I'm going to have to learn how to do that in a minute. But I think that is going to pass the test. So Tenko show, it should print this matrix. Tenko test. How to patch your output. Script error contains invalid characters. Where? Two word input. 2 word. So how about we say is that a comment? No. What does a comment look like? Oh, that's a comment. Okay. So if we say forever print input, that will just print the input line. So let's see what happens here. Oh, that didn't work. All right, so let's do this. Forever. We'll say command is, or how about we'll say s equals input if I'd say not equals not. Say if s is not equal to q, 2 word s, or it's not equal to that. Let's see if that works. I don't know this language. That's the whole point of for learntris for me is like I'm learning. You know, I can use it to learn a language. Oh, all right. So that's not how you say not equal to. All right. So go back over here and say red. We'll say x. 3 equals 5. False. 3 equals 2. 3 equals 3. True. But if this is nope, not equal. What about this? Okay. It looks like that's the one we need. Red. Great. And then Tenko test. Contains invalid characters. Okay, so s equals input, print s. Print input was I'm going to say rejoin, I guess. I think that's how you can. I don't know how else you can concatenate things. Input was q. I wonder if it's because it has the line feed in it. Trim. Is it? Let's look at input. Input. Hello. Enter. Is hello, but I want to show it as a string. Probe is probably what I want. Probe input. Hello. There we go. And I bet if I put print a multi value, so I say probe input. Let's just see what that says. I think it's going to tell me that it's cute. That's weird. S is, oh, sorry, that's input. I want S, right? Ah, Q. Okay, there we go. That's what I'm looking at. I need some way to trim that. Like when I'm working here, but somehow the shell is like when I'm working here, I'm not getting that. As I said, probe input, and then I just typed in something. And if I can't even get it to show me that control that line carriage return. But all right, so I need like a trim statement. Trim. Strip. There's some way to find out things you can do. All right, so how about help? Well, of known functions or words. So what? We do what? String? No. Seems like there ought to be a way to like let's see, let's try help of what? Help, or rather what with string. Oh no, it actually wants trim. How about that? That is not. There we go. Yeah, you have to put it on the word itself somehow. So if you say string, what if we say string? Nope. Any string. Like strip or trim. Or none. Okay, so trim is the word we want. So how about we say probe S and probe trim S. And try that. There we go. So that cuts that line. So that's what we need to do. So S equals trim input. And then if S is not equal to that, then do commands to it. So if it's not empty, then we're going to pick one of these things and do that block. All right, all two tests pass. And so now this has told us we're in change mode. That means that all tests have passed. Either make improvements or run Tanko test or run Tanko next to proceed. There we go. So we now have two commands handled, and of course it's only printing out an empty well, we can't, or an empty matrix. But we're off to a good start. So empty matrix. So quit or print empty matrix. All right. So hopefully that went to. Oh, it's weird to me that Alt or the Control Tab here in Firefox does that, but oh, look at that, and it's red too. Okay, moving right along. Okay, so the next test, when we're ready to go, we type Tanko next. This is really supposed to like it does that, but it's supposed to show you the test. That's there's a bug there. But anyway, also when you refresh, you can see that I never intended for this to automatically happen on Tanko next, but maybe it should. But the tests that you passed show up over here. So you can always go back and see what you've done and all the commands that you should do, but you can also click on this, which is not in this list, to see the next test. So read 22 lines of text. And so we have to control some kind of state now, and we're going to print out the state. And when we hit G, we're going to read in the state. So I wonder if there's I also wonder if I can read these words without, like, if I can run. I can certainly load this, but I wonder. I wonder if you. I'm curious if you can load this without running this last loop, and I bet you can. You would say open. You would say load. Make it a file. Read. So program is like program, and then that didn't work. Oh, okay. Load is not a word. No, it is. What is happening here? Oh, you have to have a space there. Reading and evaluating a source. So I think we want to say read. So if we say read, right? Then when we say prog and we say print prog, then we have it. And I bet we can say we can somehow cut this. And then you could run it up to this point, right? Like as if you were importing a module. I don't know how to do that. This is not it. Prog 1, prog 2, prog 3. Oh, okay. So it's a string? All right, well, yeah, there's some weird dynamic stuff going on here. Doesn't matter. I wonder if I have matrix show. I do, so because I did load it, it loaded all those things. So I could just, the answer, I just load red, red, and then red. Why did that work? As I said, do. And now those are defined. Interesting. Okay, so you can just run it and then do that. Okay, so if I have a matrix line, and I want to split that, try this. Nope. That worked. It's very much like logo in that somebody explained logo to me. That you could do this. So like this consumes one argument, and now this consumes two arguments. So this gets, yeah. Like it knows what the arity of each one of these things. All right, so if we split, and rejoin, this is the format. Well, no, it's not. I think this is the internal format I want to use. So let's say, like internally, I'm going to keep it as an array of, so we'll say line, or say row. Right, so it's 1 to 10 are the, you know. All right, so how about string get row? How about parse row? Yeah, we'll get row. And that's going to be a function of S. So we say get row of 1, 2, 3. Yes, that's what I want. Because in this case, they're like that. So I just want to strip the read row, parse row, get row, parse row. All right. Yeah, and this is a local variable. All right, so I have to actually say control insert. All right, so and then we want to say print row is going to be, we want to put those circles in now. So if we have banana, we want to say map I bet there's a smaller way to say a function, but we say C and then this will work. I don't think it's the right way to do it, but nope. Map has no value. No. There's no map. Now, so map to me is a functional programming language term. I should be reading the docs, right? I'm like going off like half remembered things from 2 years ago. Let's see, documentation. The problem is the documentation is not. Like, where would I go? Read the official documentation, but it's not necessarily organized the way I might. I don't know. I always seem to find a way to say what I wanted to say, but it took me Rebol docs. Could ask Chat GPT. I'm kind of curious. Like, this is red. I do have Chat GPT. So what if I said, make, how do I say, add a space before each character in a string. I'll say print. Oh, it did it. Hey, that was pretty close. For each C and S. Okay, so for each C in S. Okay, that's what I was trying to do. First of all, I didn't say. All right, so S is going to be banana. I could just like look at that, but you know, C and S, and we'll say C. So we'll say collect. That's taking the last letter. For each C and S, C. Keep C. That's about right. Keep. Keep. There we go. You have to put in parentheses and it'll evaluate it. Nope. You do, but then now it's okay. That will cause it to evaluate, but I think maybe say list. No. List 1, 2. Make list build create. No. Oh, block. They're called blocks, not lists. You say block 1, 2, 3? No. All right, so quick reference card. How about that? That looks handy. There was like a really nice append, insert, remove. Oh, I bet we could say this. You could say just keep this and then keep C. Yeah, there we go. And then rejoin that all at the end, banana. Except we want it the other way around. Banana. You could even trim it at the end. All right, so then we would wrap this in a func, takes S, and then does this. And then we would say, what do we want to call it? Print row. Remove and add spaces to a row. Rows are just strings of characters. Okay. So then, matrix. So we'll say empty row. Going to be that. 10 of those. I'm sure there's a way to do what I want to. I think I seem to remember making this, so there should be reshape times. So I didn't have map. I made map. Reshape. Select people. Yeah, that's. Yeah, it's easier to just write 10 times. I don't think there's a primitive that would generate this for you. I don't think. X times 5. Okay. Maybe there is one, but I don't know what it is. All right, so now, so we're going to say for each, a matrix line, right? So it's actually going to be for each we do want to, so if I'm going to make the thing anyway. Let me, I just saw this, but func X and N. We're going to make X N times select loop N keep copy X. Times 5. Oh, right. You don't call it like that. You say 5. like that. Press count argument. Keep. There we go. So we do that 10, and then times. I'll do that 22. Nope. Gotta invoke it. Otherwise, it's just a block. Make block. So it's all being merged into one list, and I want it to not be one list. What did I do 2 years ago? Repend only. Appends a reduced value only. So append, okay. You see, you could, like, I mean, you could do it a lot of different ways, but it forces you to learn pretty quickly, like, some core ideas of a language. So, like, oops. The only I just made up. So somehow I have to try and make that a list. But even if we just said times or block, right? And if we said, maybe if we put this in here, 1, 2, 3, 5. That works. If we say times, yeah, that's no good. If we say this, it's no good. And I'm pretty sure if we put this in here, it's no good. So somehow we have to take a list, a block. Like, so this already produces a list, but we have to put it inside of another list. List or block. Or maybe, oh, I know what I could do. Append, copy. There we go, append only. right? And you have to copy this thing, otherwise you're going to wind up with it'll be weird. It'll give you it'll keep that state. You have to copy this thing, otherwise it's going to somehow magically always have that same thing in there. Like if you don't do this and you say func wrap, how about, oh yeah, sorry, wrap is going to be the function x's, and then we're going to put this x's here. All right, so if we say wrap 1, 2, 3, 4, we get that wrapped. Okay, but if we say wrap, oh, we do it again. Oops, wrap 5, 6, 7. There you go. See, it's appending to that, so that's why you have to say copy it. In fact, I think if you say wrap, yeah, you can see it's like it's modifying the function itself. It's modifying the definition of the function, because this is just a block, and we told it to append to this thing in the block, and so you have to tell it to copy it, or else it'll modify the thing. That's why I say there's no variables. If you name this thing, like somehow you can modify the definition of the function in place, and it just keeps modifying itself. It's really wacky, but it seems to work. So I mean, people seem to. It's a little more stateful than I usually expect. Okay, so what did I learn? I learned that I say append only, copy this. So that's wrap. Wrap needs to be that. So basically, wrap. The append only, copy this, and if we say wrap 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, yeah, now it doesn't do that weird behavior. I guess maybe you could want that sometimes, but okay. So I don't know why. Oh, well, that was dumb. Lost my state there. I'm used to like right-clicking, and you just can't do it from this terminal. Okay, append only, copy x. So this wrap in a function, wrap a list in, or wrap a block in another block. And then I lost my times function. There we go. So that needs to be wrap. So we say wrap, so times 5, 5. Oops. Wrap has no value because I didn't. Uh-oh. Wrap. And then you run this. This actually causes it to run. Parentheses cause it to run, and the square brackets cause it to. Ooh, keep has no value. Why? I don't think we need to put wrap in here. It's causing trouble, and I don't know how to fix it, but I also think we just don't need it. So we do this times 5, 5. Oh, hold on. Oh, I see why. So I copied a bad version of this thing. So this should work. And if we say wrap here, this should work. Times 3, 3. Oh, right. This still needs. For its value. Why doesn't it allow integer for its value argument? Then we get a list. But if we don't have the wrap, yeah, I think this is the better implementation. Just leave leave it like that. Return that. Why would it think that? How about dupe? How about we call it dupe? Duplicate x n times. And I'm going to swap the order on these things. We'll say dupe 3, 5 times. Because I didn't load it. So load red retris.red. Do load retris.red. And then we say wrap. Nope. We say dupe. Okay. So dupe 3 times. I want this. Okay. Okay, so then do 10 times of this, rejoin it. And then we'll say dupe 22 of these. Well, did I not need this? So basically, I made this wrap thing to. Oh, I see. So somehow it treats if it's a block, that's one thing. But if it's a string, it's another thing. So if I just have a so here, right? So if I say that, let me put it with like a fewer things. If I say 2 and 3, it's going to give me 6 all in one list. And if I say rejoin here, then it gives me 2 strings, which is what I want. And I added this wrap thing to get this behavior. I'm not sure which one I need. But anyway, let's just go with this for now, and we'll find out what we need later. So if I want the matrix, we get this. That should be 22 rows of 10. And if we print it, then it would say print for each. So how about we say matrix is this for each row in matrix for each row matrix print row. Look at that. I don't need any of this little like spacing or anything like that. So, once I was blowing up a string, so I think if I just leave it like this, I'm good. And what if I say matrix 3, 3 should be a dot? Can I assign to that? I can assign to it, but it didn't do quite what I expected. All right, so we're on the right track anyway. I'm not there yet anyway. All right, so for each row in matrix, print row is going to be print matrix. Print matrix. Come on. Come on. Control insert, shift insert for each row in matrix. Print row. And then we have to say what matrix is, which is and then this will be matrix. We call it matrix show. The matrix show is this, and we don't need matrix line anymore, and we don't need this old matrix show. So we just build the matrix and we show it. And let's try it. I still expect one of this given test to fail. All right, so that didn't give us a very thing, but yeah, I started moving all of the feedback to the front end. What this is actually telling me is that it doesn't tell me which test failed, but what it's Q test fail. Oh, that's weird. Hang on, that's not good at all. Redtris, red. Matrix show needs a value. Okay, what's this? Oh, it needs to be a function. So yeah, I'm gonna Tenko test is not showing what test actually failed, which is confusing when you have multiple tests. But if we run this test, wait. This is supposed to update right here. Yeah, this it's not showing the test results. All right, so that's a bug. This is supposed to show up here. That's why I'm doing this, is to but it did show it a second ago. And it's showing IOQ is broken. And Tenko test, so Tenko test is not fixing io.q. All right, I definitely got some bugs to address here. I wasn't expecting like the basic features to be broken. I thought they were all working. I'm gonna have to get this under test because this was working at one point, and I scooted ahead and I didn't put this under test. But today I'm working on learntris, so. All right, so we got to collect this and read it. So contains invalid characters. Two word S. What is the word that is failing? We don't need this anymore. Maybe there's a space in there. I don't know why this is failing. Oh, because it's the dot. Because it's saying G and then it's saying this, and that's causing it to contain invalid characters. So G has to do something. We have to tell G to actually do something, and what it does is it reads 22 lines of input. All right, so if we say input, S equals input, so then we have S equals input, and we're going to put a bunch of dots there. So we need to break those into s.split, or no, split series on a delimiter. So split and it has a trailing space, and so we want to do that, so we say split trim input. And that's just going to be our matrix. So we're going to say, let's do 2 lines. Collect loop 2 split trim input. There. So we're going to say 1 or A, B, C, and then dot, dot, dot. And we got to keep it. 1, 2, 3. And that did not work the way I wanted, and we need to say keep wrap. There we go. That's what I want. That's my matrix. So I do that, but I do it 22 times. And that's G. That's read the matrix. Matrix get. You just put it in here. You don't have to give it names. Like you could just Oh, so we got to say matrix is equal to this. Let's give them names. So we'll call it matrix put or print. We'll call it put. I don't know, something about this makes me want to be concise. So we'll say func and matrix get. I believe func is uses global variables by default. So if I'm not mistaken. And if you want local variables, you say function as opposed to func. I believe that's correct. But we'll find out in a second. Nope. What happened here? MTX get has no value. That worked, okay. And if we say function, this will break because matrix will be a local variable. Yeah, so it's just printing out it printed out empty lines because it, yeah. That's interesting. You know, global variables in general are bad for you, but that's kind of nice. Format that a little. Like for something this small, like, you know, it's okay. All right, Tanko test, and then we'll say gd .red. We'll say we implemented given command. Okay. You know, I really don't like, this is a global variable, so I'm going to put like a little to do in here. Dude, can we make this non-global without rewriting everything? I don't know how to do that. I don't know enough about scopes to answer that question, but you know, I'm trusting that I'll learn more as I go along and eventually be able to. How about complete rewrite? I'm trusting that I'll know more in the future, and then that's when I'll fix this or improve this. All right. All right, actual Tetris stuff. So actual learntris stuff. So I guess the point is we are in change. See, it did on Tanko Next update I'm sorry, on Tanko Test when it passed, it updated everything. When I have a failing test, it didn't update. When failing, it shows on pass. Okay. But it also fails. Like if I put, if I break this test, if I say print hello and then break, that's how you pronounce hello. Oh, sorry. So it did do that when it shows on pass and fix, but not on build. All right, so it's in build mode, but not when it's the It's not when it's a new test. When the new test. It doesn't show failures for the new test, but does not show failures for the new test in change mode. All right, so obviously I will fix that. But we are in change mode, and we can look at things and say, well, this is no longer useful to us. And so we can just delete that. And there we go. So now that's our learntris. GD redtris. Just double check that it passes. And remove unused code. Oh. Okay. All right, so all of our tests have passed, and we say, what's next? We say tanko next. And we get this test. The C command constructs learntris to clear the matrix. That's easy. C. So we're going to say matrix new down here. There we go. And I believe that will work. Yep, all 4 tests fast. So add clear command. Oops. Come on. Git push. Tanko status. We're in change mode, and then so we say, oh, because the test passed, we're in change mode, so we say tanko next, and we get the next test. We really should update this. It does update the IO score, but it doesn't. It should show it. What's wrong here? The IO score. And there's a bug. Yeah, this is a bug. I actually fixed this, but I didn't fix it in the source code, and then I re-imported it. I fixed it in the database. The problem is that this has a question mark in it, and so I can't link to that. So fix, and I actually have a to-do somewhere, but I'll just fix the question mark S in the score puzzle in the actual learntris code file. All right. So anyway, we can at least see it over here if we type, if you ever lose your screen, you can type tanko show, and it will also show you the current test over here. All right, but yes, but this is mad because that you can't have that in a URL if we just want to link to something. Like if you open this, it's actually just fetching it from this. I believe if you say .json, this will, yeah, it'll actually give you the JSON. That's why I say this is an API. Anyway, IO score. So the score should be 0. So we're just gonna have it print to 0, I guess. I'm gonna. Is none a word? It's like Copilot thinks it's a word. Oh. None. None is a none die. Okay, so yeah, it's the thing, and we say score is 0. And when we get the, oh, okay, hang on. So if it's question mark S, now can we do that in, is it going to give me an error message? Can I not report information about this because that's no good. Yeah, see, it's saying test names. I have to actually fix this. All right, this is good. This is the kind of thing I was actually looking for. Like the fact that it doesn't show up, that's one thing, but the fact that it breaks, that's something that has to be fixed. So I'm going to go ahead and fix it in the database right now. So I will show you how to do that. So we say SQLite 3, and you just open tanko.sdb, and we have to fix this on the server and on the client. Select star from test where name like how about we say ID and name. Tests. Ah, come on. Well, that's weird. There should be two of them. Maybe I fixed one and didn't fix the other. Order by group. Limit 10. Oh, right, because this is my local machine. I only have one of them. So, update. Yeah, you only get the test from the server as it passes. Set name equals IO score S, where name equals IO.score question mark S. And then we say select, run this again. There we go. And say .exit, and then we're gonna do the same thing on the server. I'll bring that up here. Obviously you can't do this, so that's why I have to do this I have to go through and work through this thing before other people do it. Right. There we go, and that's the one I was expecting to see. So go ahead and fix this. And this one we can actually use keyboard control. All right, so we'll do that, and then in the test here we say score. Yeah, so we fix it in the file here. This is the actual source code for the learntris test. And there we go. That way, the next time I import it, once I check this in, this will never cause us trouble again. Okay, so that's good. All right, where are we at? So now, hopefully when I refresh this page, there we go, yeah. So now everything's fine, Tanko test, all normalized. The database is normalized, so we don't have a problem here. So, well, it didn't, yeah, it should be showing the code there, but since it doesn't, that's... I do think that's a one-line fix. Let me just see. I'm going to take 1 second. I want to see, because it would be nice if that did that and we could see what it's supposed to do. It's in app.py. If it takes too long, I'm not gonna do it. But if it's a one-line fix, I think it is, we'll see. So we should be sending a fail. When that happens, we should have gotten a fail. Oh, it's in check. That's why. I see. It's not in. That's exactly why it is. So it is a one-line fix. And we need to. Okay, come on. We need to call this thing, set a step, this thing, but it's in check. So check, right? Because in this case, the server does not know the answer to the question. There we go. And then, sorry, if it is pass, then we want to do the transition pass. And if it's a fail, else. Right, so now I think if we do this, we say Tanko test. Oh, we got to refresh this page because the server restarted when I uploaded. Over here, and we'll say Tanko test. Oh, okay. It failed because set attempt state list index out of range. So now I've broken it. Okay, well, I'm not going to try and fix that right now. There's a bug in the set attempt state. If it is passed, that should true. So I'm gonna put this as a to do. But then this would be m dot transition. No, sorry, m dot attempt state fail. And the focus is going to be no, sorry, attempt state. You're in what state are you? You're in change state, and then the focus is going to be test name. I think that's going to work. So let's try that. Again, we have to restart the thing. Boom, Tanko test. Yeah, see, you're not. Maybe there should be a different name for that state because you're in that. Well, first of all, you should be in build mode. Sorry, so this is wrong. It should be build. Because you're fixing something that has never worked before, right? So right, at least that's correct. Let me see what happens here. All right, well. Let's just see. I'm going to break the first test again. Hello. And then see if it fixed that. And then when we fix it, it changed to build IO scores, but it didn't clear this. Okay, so that's progress anyway. Or at least it's showing the right thing. Tanko state should, it should be state probably. It's fix io.q. Oh, interesting. That's a bug. Tanko status shows fix io.q because even after I fixed it, because check the response from check on the client is not causing a transition. So it's the same thing on the client side as what was on the server side. Is that there's okay, so maybe when it causes a transition I should send that back or something. I don't know. Anyway, progress anyway. So if I refresh this, it should just show fix. Oh, fix IO.q. Hang on. Right, I didn't because the transition failed. So this actually is the correct thing, but then it's not being saved on the client on the server side. So fix IO.q is wrong. All right. Well, we have to pass this test. At least this is showing correctly here. All right, so that's a bug. And Tanko on the server and on the client. And we just need to print the score. Yeah, I think print score is fine. That worked. Okay. So you can actually have the question mark here in the command. Nice. All right, so now it does say we're in change mode. That's correct. And then I'm going to just go ahead and do Tanko next because I know it's the same thing and it's the number of lines cleared. I guess print, nope. Num cleared. Or num cleared. Here, how about lines cleared? Lines cleared. Tanko test. I find that I'm not using this. It would be much nicer if I didn't have to type all these commands. If I could just click a button here and it would run it for me. Which is what I want the experience to be like anyway. learntris.read. Add the SNN commands. Okay, Tanko next. Build rule.clear. Tanko next doesn't show the actual rule on the screen. It should. All right, so the S command instructs learntris to execute one step of the simulation if the matrix contains an unbroken row of blocks, or in other words, a row that contains no empty cells. Then the S command should clear the row, replacing each block with an empty cell. Increment the N register by 1, increment the S register by 100. So that's the scoring system. Yeah, only initial approximation of the scoring system, but it will do for now. Okay, so if the matrix contains an unbroken row of blocks, we're going to be given an unbroken row, and we're going to run S, and that's going to first we're going to get the score, then we're going to run S, and we're going to show that the score is now 100 and the number of rows is clear. And the number of lines is increased by 1 and the score is increased by 100. So right, so we need an S command. Step game. So let's make a get line so I can get line, get row. I'm going to just extract a function here. Func s. Oops, not there. Here. So get row is going to be that. I'll say do load learntris.read, get all those definitions, Control C to this, and then we say get row, and it should probe get row. No. You have to pass it a symbol. I don't know. All right, so if we say get row of, well, this row. Oop. This needs to be S. There we go. And then if we say matrix 3, what if I say this? Can I say full? So we say, there we go. All right, so then the question is, so that's what basically is going to happen when we do the read. We've filled in that row. Actually, this is small enough that it probably could be on one line. And what do we want to do? We want to say, so basically for each row in matrix, print row, which is what we're doing right now. For each row in matrix, print row, that's matrix. But is there a find? Turns a series where a value is found. It's more like filter. First. Search. Okay, let's look at find again. Returns, find is an action value. The value is found. That's not what I'm looking for. I need something. Well, I could do a for loop, but I bet there's a like a functional way to do it. Look for the place where I'm going to try and find the language I was really using before. Not the language, the tutorial, the code I was looking for. This one, read by example, one of those two. This one was what I was looking for. It's a nice little reference. So a series. How to find a value in a series. Yeah, but that's not what I want. Query. How about query? No. Select. Why am I doing this? Maybe there's a different approach I could be taking. Well, okay, there's a word called break that will break through a list, right? Breaks out of a loop while for each. So we say for each row in matrix, actually kind of promising. And so my row. Oh, I see. Because empty. If the row is empty, then. So if not, find row. They find row. All right, so we just say if not find row X, or if not find row dot. Wow. But actually, to know, I need to enumerate this. You have to put spaces everywhere, so put 0 there. For each row matrix, it's not find row score, and it's one based. And I say, was there an empty line? Row new is that do if I broke that. Do load learntris.red. Oh, I got an error here. They do load and then break it out of the loop. So we say row new, that's this. And then I was going to say lines cleared equals lines cleared plus 1, score equals score plus 100. And matrix I is row new. And I think that's what we have to do to pass the test. All 7 tests passed. All right, that's 7 tests out of 45. So this is not like a. I'm 2 hours into it. I am debugging the thing, but you got to assume that that's compensated for by the fact that I have done learntris like a million times over the years, or at least many times in multiple different languages. Of course, I'm also learning a language, but then that's the whole point. You're doing this to learn a language or whatever. And the point is, it's not a. I'm trying to gauge like how long learntris takes to do, because like I don't want to be, some people get upset if they pay like learntris is going to be free. At least learntris Classic is going to be free. But people want to know like how long it takes to do it. So yeah, so let's see. So this gd redtris.red, and we'll say git commit -m. Implement step and clear lines. I'm liking this red. It's kind of nice. Could call this row get or something like that, since row new versus row get. Whatever. Okay, what's next? Test Tanko test. All right, so we say Tanko next. All right. It's actually not any easier to read in one of these others, but the intent is that it's going to be much easier to read in the web browser. It's just we're not there yet. Right, at any point in time when the game is running, there should be a single active tetramino that the player is able to control. Normally, these are chosen somewhat randomly at runtime, but for automated testing, there needs to be some way to set the active tetramino. This is actually a limitation of the test framework. We have to tell it what thing we're going to spawn, rather than relying on random behavior. But I mean, I guess also it would make sense because we're introducing one of the times we want to specify which one it is and like get the we want to be able to specify, but we also want to be able to test for the randomness and to test that the output of your program is like within a set of like again when it outputs the queue of things to do, that it should be some permutation of the different tetraminos. Anyway, this one is called the I tetramino, and in the game it is generally colored cyan. Yeah, I was a little disappointed with Tetris, the one where it's all we are all connected. The latest Tetris game. It had all these nice, beautiful graphics, but no color whatsoever on on the tetraminos. I don't know. After issuing the I command, the active tetramino should be I tetramino, and it should be oriented horizontally. In order to verify that the active tetramino is correct, the test needs some way to ask what it looks like. This is the role of the T command. It displays the active tetramino. And then if we say, okay, so so right now you actually cannot see the expected output here. That's intentional. Because this is hidden from you. The client doesn't know this. It's because, but it should know it for some tests and should not know it for other tests. Because this is like a spec that you're writing to. Whereas other tests in the future might be like a puzzle where you don't know what the answer should be. So we don't want to give you the answer. But in this case, we actually do want to give you an answer because it's a spec. So this is your input, and this is what the expected output is. Of course, you could pass this by like collecting the inputs and just like mapping them to the outputs. You had a dictionary, and you could just automate that thing, and that's why whatever. All right. Anyway, so if we say I, then basically T should just print this out, and that'll pass this test. So T is going to be tet get for the tetramino. Tet is going to be how about grid new? And we're gonna extract this. We're gonna say grid new func, and we're gonna give it a width and a height, and then we're gonna say do width of this, and we're gonna say dupe h and then maybe even say line new. Can we say C, give it a default value? Width and C, I think we can do that. I don't know if you can do that. Let's say func. We'll say F is a func, and it's got C is X, and then we're going to return C. Nope. So what if we say Rebol or Rebol default value? I just said red default value. All right, so we say B unset you know what? I'm gonna just not worry about this right now. We're just gonna say C. Doopsie. Line new is going to be wrap. Okay, so then this is going to be grid new. Grid new. Yeah, 1022. Let's see if this works. And code test. Do load. Oh, breach does not allow none in. Where did that happen? Why is that happening? Okay, so there we go. Row new has no value. Where's row new? So that is going to be line new and dot. Yeah. And then P should be at get. What if we just say tet, print tet? No. For each row tet, print tet. That's weird. Oh, sorry. It should be print row. That makes more sense. So func G for each row in G, print row. And then now we can call this grid put matrix. Ah, come on. And then tet get, so grid put tet. We don't need put matrix. All right, so now we're good, except we have a extra line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we need to remove 2 lines and add 2 lines up here. An odd way to put the diff. an odd way to phrase the diff, but I guess it's a valid way to put the diff. All right, so then the letter I is going to be spawn I. Or how about we say tet equals I? Copy I. And I is going to be let's see. And then I2 is line new for C. And then I is grid put I is that. We need to say can we just say grid new 4 is it like a put? And then at 2 we would say line new for C. Can we do that? No. Dot 2 like that, no. I don't know how to do it without modifying the variable in place. I don't know how to do it as a single expression for now. But maybe we'll figure it out. Do single make this as expression without in the Rust version. I just broke it into 4 chunks. But I don't think I have like a. If I look at my old code for reshape, keep Y. I didn't have a way to pass it an array. It says to do reshape array. So you can give it a scalar and then reshape the scalar, but you can't. What if you said A, B, C, D, E, F, G, take 3 from there. Oops. Take 3. Take part 3. Oh. If we said func so we set a series and an n. I'm just thinking, what can I do here? What am I trying to do? I mean, like, one way I could write it is just to row. What is it? Get row. Like, you could just draw it like this. Mm-hmm. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. And just draw it like that. And then we say for each row in, call this like x's or something. For each row in x's, for each x and x's. Get row x, and then we say collect that. Keep get row x. Okay. And grid put this. And then we could just specify it as a string. I kind of like that. We'll say new tet. And then it'll be it's going to be a func of x's, and then we're going to collect for each x of x's, keep get row x. I can't believe there's not a word map. They just added apply, and now that you have apply, you ought to be able to map. But I think it just, because they didn't have apply, they didn't have map. Map would be like, But that doesn't even use apply. Map, get row. Oh, I see. Because you can't say that. Get row would be executed. You would say apply. I think you say apply here. Keep apply. Hmm. There's the split. Hmm. Yeah, I'll have to learn how to do that. This is not helpful. Okay, so but anyway, new tet has no value. So we want this to be, so we're going to get row of x, and then we're going to say I is new tet. Go ahead, do it. There we go. So we could put it all on one line if we wanted to, but we're going to put it CCC here. Okay. And that is the way to do this. So let's see what happens if we run this. Echo test. Funct has no value. So instead of funct, we will say func. Hmm. Right, because they still expect the spaces. It's fine. It's still pretty terse. There we go. I test pass. Yeah. This is just not effective, is it? It needs to show it here and not here. And the controls need to be here. This is I haven't gained anything from this. I'm relying on this too much, which is fine. This is just more valuable to me than this, which is frustrating because I spent a lot of time on this. But the goal is to make this much better. So yeah, let's see. I'm 2 hours and 31 minutes into here. I'll go ahead and introduce the other tetraminos because that's what's happening next. So we'll just do those, and then I think I'll call it a night because they're all going to be the same. So let's do O. Right. And this is going to be YY. Yeah, that's it. Look at that. It knows. It knows. Okay. Yes. 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 Interesting. Interesting. I like that. All right. And then that's all 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. Interesting. Now these might not be the exact right patterns, but I bet they're right. And so the L is orange, J is blue. Is that true? J is blue. J is blue. L is orange. Yes. These might be swapped, but I think this is right. That's neat. Now maybe it's looked at learntris and it knows. I don't know. All right, so let's see Tanko test. Oh, okay, hang on. Not saved. Okay, try it again. Which one failed? Shape. The I tetramino failed. Did I lose T? T is grid put tet. Okay. Let's find out redtris. Sorry, not red. And we say T. Not printing anything. Oh. I see what's happening. It's case insensitive. That's a trick. That's interesting. Okay. I'm gonna put something. Or maybe I can do this. I'm gonna say break, and have a break. You can't drop into the red. Let's see. So we'll do red dot. Oh. You said red dot I. Learntris dot red. Not open dot I. Okay. Oh, okay. We can say do load learntris dot red. Hit Control C, and then we're out of this. That's how we get in there. There's got to be a better way to get into the red interpreter. But... All right. So upper. Is there like an is up? Okay, so I'm gonna say, can this be a symbol like cat? And okay, that can be a symbol. So we say like cat is equal to 5, and we say dot cat, and we say cat, and that's not the same thing. Yeah. All right. So then I'm gonna say, I actually think this is used in learntris, but I don't know that yet. So let's say if S is equal to uppercase S, then S is equal to no. I guess we just say rejoin. I don't know any other way to do that. I don't know any infix thing that does that. I think that's it. I think you can use the characters. That's how you say a character. See, what was happening is the T was, because it was uppercase, it was I was overriding it. So the T was being reassigned to this one. It saw that one first. What we actually want to say is S is equal to that. Okay. That's not working. But it's handling the empty string. Because now this is never empty. And then it's constantly doing, yeah, okay. So All right, so we have to stop this. Can I even stop it? Oh, okay. Stop it that way. Hmm. Maybe this is failing. And it's giving me a dot Q. I bet if I put a dot Q in here, okay, so so let's say Q is equal to Q. False. So S is equal to Q, or S becomes Q. S equals uppercase S. True. Uppercase is copy S. Yeah, this is what I didn't like about red. Like, it's not functional. It like mutates things. That's bizarre behavior. That should never happen in a language. That's my bias, anyway. Is there like a 2? No, we said there was no like 2 up. There was no 2 upper or whatever. Okay, well, but uppercase copy, you have to use the word copy everywhere here. Okay, so hopefully we are no longer, yeah, we were able to do this. So I lost my learntris because I had to kill 2 of them, didn't I? We'll say red. And then over here, we will say learntris, sorry, Tenko test. I expect all the tests to pass. All right, so this is a little weird because I've passed tests that I have not seen. I've got shape O. So I'm going to say Tenko next. Tenko test. Let's see if it gets right. Okay, so it gets the wrong color. No. What does it do? Z is test copy Z. Which one is it mad about? Oh, notice that in this, yes, this is meant to trip you up. In this test, the commands are all issued on a single line. This helps keep the test descriptions readable and also makes it more convenient to type the commands interactively by hand. Commands may be separated by either new lines or spaces. You may need to adjust your implementation accordingly. So we can say for each S in trim split input, or how about line? How about we say line is equal, line is not equal to that. Then for each S in For each S in split line N, or line that, we're going to say, or maybe we'll say, well, the S is fine. For each command. For each command in split line N, split S, split trim S on that. I don't even think we need these parentheses. I don't think we need these parentheses. Oh, we do. We already trimmed the input. We need one of those at least. Split. Oh, command. If command is equal to that. Okay, so copy command. And I say command here. I don't have kill all or kill, do I? I don't know how to kill that thing. I do know how to kill it by going into the this thing. Except I don't see it. I'm just going to kill the window. Oh. Mad, I tried to sort by name. I got like so many different. I don't see anything called red. Why is there no red? Okay, so red is unkillable, but we can kill it this way. You can't even hit Control Z to do it. CDD ver red. Yeah, that's what I wanted. So did I fix the problem? I think I identified the problem that it still had a S in here. Okay, so we're going to say red. And just try to get it to run. Oh, we don't. Red. Learntris.red. Nope. This is I'm gonna put this line on my clipboard here. I'm inside of 2 nested loops. All right, so we'll say if done, then break. If done, break. All right. So I think this is still my clipboard, but just in case, pick it. There we go. Okay, so that's the problem. The break was breaking out of this loop, but then going back right into the forever loop. Okay, so all right, Tenko test. I think this now works. Right, but I'm not in the right directory. learntris. Yeah, so when I remember this now, like I made this course 10 years ago, and like I knew that was going to be boring to make all these things, so I started putting a little spice in there, so it wasn't, so you wouldn't just fast forward through it, and you would have to have a little problem to deal with. Like that was the opportunity to do something unexpected. All right, so Tenko next. Tenko test. So it printed out STQ, but why? Did I not save this? For each command, it's split. If command is uppercase, command equals rejoin command. Could do commands. We gotta do it. So STQ, I'm gonna do that thing again in a scratch one. So S T prints out S. Ah, but this is these are global variables, right? So we don't. That's why you don't like global variables, right? Right. Right. Now do it again. S T. There we go. All right. Next. All right, so clockwise. All right, so now we're somewhere. Okay, so this is that a symbol that we can refer to in? Is this going to be a valid word? No. So this makes a if you can quote it, then it's a valid word. But if it's this, then right. Yeah, so we have to say I don't think we can say that. We have to say like clockwise. All right, so we have to map. See, so we say if command is equal to command equals clockwise. And CW, we're going to say tet, and then now I got to rotate it clockwise. It would be nice to have a transpose. Do I have a transpose? If you reverse and transpose, that's the same as a clockwise. All right, but I'm going to say to do clockwise. Print to do clockwise rotation. I'm actually not going to do this. Right. It might be nice to have a word that says, okay, I don't want this. Like actually back up. I'm going to add that now that I think about it. So like you started doing something and you realize you need to, so it would be nice to have a command that allows you, these are my notes for the session here. I know they're very small. I can't make that any bigger. But it would be nice to have a command that allows you to roll back Tanko next. So maybe to go and go back into change mode. So how about Tanko change? Because that's often the case. Like you don't know that you need to refactor until you have a test. And so if you could look at the test and then say, oh, wait a minute, I want to change something. And then I would go back because you don't, you could just be doing general cleanup. And then also, just so you can see it, you would say Tanko peek to look at the next test if you want to refer to it. Without making it a failing test, right? Because you want to be working in all tester green mode. So I can do that right now, but it's painful. Like I'll show you what I have to do. It's not hard. I happen to know that select star from attempts. Right, these are all these. Oh, somebody else is doing it. Oh, one person's doing it. I knew that one person was doing it. And they're on test number 3. Yeah, and I'm on test number 15. Okay, so, but if we say select star from attempts, where ID equals 3. All right, so what I need to do is say update attempts set where ID equals 3. I always put that in first, and then so in case I accidentally hit enter, set state equals focus. No, sorry, state equals change. Focus equals null where ID equals 3. And then I do the same thing on the local machine, which would be, if you have SQLite, you can do this yourself, but it would be painful to do that. So, or expect people to do that because you're messing with a database that you might not understand. But you can always just say tables and see all the tables. But we can do the same thing, but it would be different. So select star from attempts. There's only one. So we can just say update attempts. Oops, sorry. I want to shift to this. Now here I can just right click where ID equals 1. And then if I say Tenko status, it says I'm in change mode. And if I say Tenko test, it will not give me that failing test. Because there's one more thing you have to do, right? It just runs all the tests, regardless of whether they passed or not. But on the client, it downloads. It just has all the tests that it knows about. It only downloads one at a time, as you say Tenko next. So if we say from tests where ID equals 15, or rather where group is 15. Where name equals what? Clockwise.I. Let's say delete from tests where name equals clockwise.I, and then dot exit, and then Tenko status, Tenko test. Yeah, all 14 tests pass. And you're in change mode again. So those commands basically wiping out, ignoring the test that you just downloaded. So deleting the last test you downloaded, and setting the state back to change on both the client and server would be Tenko change, I guess. All right. Yeah, it's nice because now you have, like, all your tests passed, and you can say gd learntris.read. All right, so what happened there? Oh, you can pay. I guess I hit the right arrow. As I was saying, my fingers are stubby, so it's dangerous to stubby. But I have big fingers and a small keyboard. No, it's not even a small keyboard. I just have big fingers. And it's easy to hit a typo or whatever. All right, so add all the tetraminos. Add all the tetraminos. Commands to spawn all tetraminos. Okay, well, I'm going to stop here. That was 3 hours of this. I'm almost exactly on the 3 hour mark, and or a little bit over the 3 hour mark, and I think that's good enough. And yeah, so this is my implementation of learntris in Red up until the first 15 tests, and I guess I will come back and I'll probably do a little more tomorrow. And yeah, I think this is nice. I like this language, and I like the experience of doing learntris, and hopefully this was enjoyable to some people. I will probably make a edited version of this video, especially when it's completely done. And I'm going to do this for a number of languages. I want to make a whole series of like comparing, using learntris to compare languages as like something you can watch to like learn about a new language and see what it's like. So like we learned a lot of stuff here. Like I learned about you having to use the copy, and I learned about the fact that break only breaks out of one level, so there's no super break, or at least I haven't found one. And it's kind of nice. I used a lot of like little primitives here that I was familiar with. I looked at the docs a couple times, but like a handful of words got me quite a bit of this stuff working. So yeah, and I also learned that either the Copilot only saw this one file. It doesn't know where the database is of all the tests, and it doesn't see what's happening on the prompts. So it got enough of what it learns that I'm doing learntris, so it must have learned. I wonder if I'm just curious now. Let me pull up. What is learntris? Just ask Bing. What is learntris? Yes, but are you responding? Stop responding. LearnTris is a programming challenge that helps you implement a famous block game. Yeah. I wonder if it, but like this, Bing is powered by ChatGPT, but it also has the search engine, right? I'm gonna look. Yeah, if I just open up this, what is LearnTris? I mean, it has been on the internet for like many, many years. Oh, look at that! So it knows what it is. Who made LearnTris? Mystery coder. There's no such person. Are you sure it wasn't Tangestorm? Okay. I forgive you. Who is Tangestorm? All right, and I'm wrapping this up here. This is silly. We don't need to talk all night about there's limited public information about their individual. And they have contributed to various programming. Okay, pseudonym. Well, that's not really a pseudonym. Just, I guess, whatever. Okay, well, that's it. So I will come back and finish LearnTris. But yeah, anyway, it was clear that it did know about LearnTris. And so it wasn't a surprise that it was able to guess these. It probably actually saw the actual code somewhere. Because it put them in the right orientation and it picked the right colors and it knew what was going on here. That's kind of neat. And so that was not really educational for anybody using LearnTris, but we learned about wrap and the odd behavior of collect, and so I learned a lot about Red. Hopefully you did, and more importantly, got to see what LearnTris was about. And yeah. All right. Anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling. I see someone's watching, so if you want to try this for yourself, you can go. And for anybody who just is watching on YouTube, you can go to tangentcode.com and click on Setup. This is completely free, and it will walk. This thing will walk you through here. You don't have to. You'll have to hit a button that says "Log in with your Google account," and you will need something other than Firefox to do it. And if you watch this video, it will tell you exactly how to get set up, and you can run it yourself. And if you watch this video, then you can cheat. All right, I'm gonna hang it. I'm gonna drop here, and I will come back tomorrow and continue working on Red.